What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening to Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what the news is saying about Tesla, what's happening with other factors involved with the markets, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I break any devil's information, before I get into any more details about the overall market, what's happening to Tesla, SPY, and the others, let me just mention a couple of things. I am personally not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks, and the offer ends in just about 1 week from now. Anyways, when it comes to Tesla, as you guys can see, Tesla is still consolidating within this range. This is exactly what predicted would happen. I did say that Tesla may get a little dip before we try to rebound again in my prediction from yesterday. And that is what's happened so far. We got the dip part. Will we see the rebound? That's going to depend on if Tesla could bounce off this level. So I'll talk more about the technicals for Tesla, SPY, and the others a little bit later into this video. Let's first focus on some very, very important announcements. So, as you guys probably already know, the 2024 annual stockholder meeting is going to be coming up very soon, this Thursday, June 13th at 3:30 p.m. Central Time. This is going to be massive for Tesla, and I think that this could be the big catalyst to really cause a big move for Tesla stock. Tesla's been stuck in this consolidation phase for quite some time. I think that this meeting is going to cause either Tesla to break out and see a big pump to kind of like come out of this channel, or we could even see a little pullback depending on how things go. I'm hoping that we get that nice push to the upside and this inverse head and shoulders plays out. So we'll just have to wait and see. Now, for other pieces of news about the markets, as a reminder, tomorrow is going to be Tuesday, June 11th, 2024. At 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have the 42-day bill auction, not to mention the 52-week bill auction also coming out. And this could cause some volatility tomorrow, 2 hours after the market opens. But just know that tomorrow's not as crazy of a day. The most important day is going to be Wednesday because we have two major catalysts coming out. We have the CPI data sets from CPI to core CPI coming out in the morning before the market opens on Wednesday, not to mention FOMC, which Jerome Powell giving a speech at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday. So Wednesday is going to be very, very big. Generally, what happens the day before CPI/FOMC is the market's very, very sideways, very, very choppy. It doesn't do anything too crazy, but I think that the market could actually dip a bit and try to rebound. And we'll see if the rebound is just us testing all-time highs, kind of getting a small pump, or if the market kind of like already pumps before CPI. Sometimes that's happened too. So a little drop then a pop, or a drop in a big a big squeeze are the two most likely possibilities. Either way, the bulls have the edge. That's what I'm seeing. So why could the market even see a squeeze tomorrow? Because sometimes, these institutions, these big guys, they know what's going to happen with the data. Sometimes the market runs before CPI comes out because they already know what CPI is going to be. Sometimes that happens. So I just wanted to call that out. Sometimes there's a lot of optimism before CPI, so we'll just have to wait and see. But nonetheless, nonetheless, guys, the market is still favoring the bulls. The bulls still have a massive edge. For the Fed, I just want to remind you all that there's a 99.4% chance the Fed keeps rates the same during the FOMC meeting. And as of right now, I do favor that that's going to happen. We need something catastrophic to happen to CPI or something huge in order for this to shift. And it's looking very unlikely, in my opinion. For other factors involving the markets, we have Oracle announcing their earnings after the market closes on Tuesday. Then we also have like Adobe and a few others. Very, very minor earnings. But if you want to play any of these, you guys can see them. For Tesla news, I just wanted to say that right now, the California Pension Fund is opposing Elon Musk's pay package. And I actually disagree with their claim right there because I think that Elon Musk is entitled to it, considering the fact that in 2018, the shareholders voted yes upon this, with 72% of them saying yes. Musk was promised this if he could help Tesla's share price more than double, and he actually held his promise. Tesla's still up like crazy compared to where it was in 2017, 2018. We're still up massively, right? So it's very, very unfair to Elon Musk if he held his end of the bargain. And then, like I said in my previous videos, and I keep repeating the same thing, that I support that the pay package should be voted yes upon, because of the fact that you need to just think about the long term for Tesla. You need to incentivize Elon Musk to stay with the company. And you have to think about what he's going to bring to us moving forward. You need to give him that incentive to continue to do what he does. And simultaneously, you have to remember that this was already agreed upon for shareholders, and we don't really want to screw over Elon Musk like that, as he's the CEO. We don't want him to leave the company or anything like that. And then another big factor is the fact that if we vote no to this, right, Tesla will have to spend possibly 22 to 25 billion dollars for another pay package. Is it worth it? It just doesn't make sense. To forge another one of these pay packages, it's going to cost 25 billion. Why spend that much money to do it all over again when Musk deserves it? This was already promised before, and it just seems like the better move in my opinion for the company from a financial slash a business standpoint, right? Not that I'm giving any financial advice. I'm just saying that that's like the way I see it, at least from those perspectives, but I'm not really giving advice when I say that. I just want to make that very clear. Also, Tesla must face some California false marketing claims concerning the autopilot. This is making a lot of headlines right now. That's actually very important because one of the California judges has rejected Tesla's bid to dismiss claims by a top state regulator accusing the automaker led by billionaire, Elon Musk, overstating its capabilities. So this was actually very important. The DMV had its in July of 2022 accusing Tesla of misleading consumers about their vehicles with autopilot. So this is leading to a lot of criticism. Now they're actually trying to do something very different. With these rejections coming, prosecutors are now going to examine Tesla if fraud is involved, and now this lawsuit is going to continue, and Tesla has to continue to litigate as well. So that's very, very important. This is going to be important for them to continue to do what's necessary. And with this happening, we'll see how Tesla responds. But once again, very, very important stuff. On top of this, I forgot to mention this, the fear and greed index is currently in a very, very interesting neutral place. That's what's making up sentiment right now. Momentum is still greedy for the markets. The puts and call option positioning is still greedy, and then market momentum and the volatility is also kind of neutral because we're not really seeing a big shift in the VIX as of right now. So going back to Tesla, the volume was at about 50 million overall. That is below average. So we're getting low volume. Tesla's continuing to consolidate, not doing anything too crazy. Bernstein is saying that Tesla will likely underperform relative to the market. So we got a big downgrade. The price price ratio is also kind of dipping a little bit. This is because of the fact that Tesla is losing some strength. And we tend to see more volatility on Tuesdays. About 51% of the time we're green. And we tend to see more and more green around 10 o'clock a.m., also noon. And then during the second to last hour of the day is when we tend to see more volatility. So we'll see how things go. But with that being said, guys, now let's just focus on technicals. Let's just not focus on anything else, just technicals from this point on into the video. What do I see for Tesla? What is my personal opinion about the share price? What do I think is going to happen for tomorrow? Well, considering that we have so much data coming out, that could affect how Tesla ends up moving. But you have to consider the fact that Tesla is still stuck within a range. We have the support all the way down here around this 173 zone. We have resistance all the way up towards 180, and we've been stuck going back and forth for quite some time. So there's a very, very good chance that if Tesla is bullish, you want to see it break out and balance here and try to break past 180, break 180, and we're going to turn back to bullish. If we're bearish, you want to see Tesla lose 173. If we lose this and we close below that, there's going to be a risk of coming down towards the low 170 area, if not 168 for a small dip. However, the bigger picture for Tesla, regardless of if there's a dip or not, it's still bullish overall. So even if we do get a small little dip on Tesla, we could still rebound and see a nice pump for the summer. It's still very possible, and one possible catalyst could be the shareholder vote. So we'll see if that ends up being the case. But for tomorrow specifically, if Tesla maintains this range it's been stuck in, there's a good chance that Tesla could kind of dip a little bit, then get bought back up again. I find that to be the most likely possibility as we're still stuck in the range. So look for a little dip on Tesla. We could actually retest the 172s tomorrow and try to rebound. As long as we close above 174, we're going to be stuck in the range again. I think tomorrow it's going to drop and then rebound towards 176 and just continue to trade sideways. But I still think it's going to remain range bound as the most likely possibility. I will turn more bearish if Tesla, holds below 173. If we hold below that, if we hold below that, that's not going to be good. If we close below that, that's going to be bad. That's going to be a bad sign for Tesla. Then we could really start dipping. But I think we might come down a bit into that area, then try to rebound. And I think that we might just maintain the range for now as the most likely possibility. For SPY has a very, very interesting trend. You guys can see a few days ago on Monday, it dipped and bounced. Tuesday, it dipped and then bounced, and it continued to push going into Wednesday with a nice gap up. Then it dipped a little bit and then bounced into Thursday. Friday, it dipped and then bounced. Today, it dipped a little bit and then bounced. So it loves to dip and bounce. Going into tomorrow, we could see a little dip in the morning, retest 533, somewhere in the 533s, then see a nice bounce and a continuation higher is the most likely possibility to retest all-time highs. I think that's the most likely possibility. A dip and a bounce. We're on a very, very nice uptrend on spine as long as we're above 533, we're bullish. If we lose 533, watch 531.5, then 529. Overall, we're actually holding above these levels very nicely, so there's no sign of us breaking down. I think it's going to dip a little bit towards the 533s, then rebound back up towards 536. And we'll see if it breaks the all-time highs or not in a big squeeze or not. That depends on if we know about what CPI is going to be or not. So we'll just have to wait and see. If we're optimistic about CPI or not, that's another factor. But I favor a dip and a bounce as the most likely possibility. Same thing goes for the QQQ. Now, I'm going to talk about that in just a second. For Nvidia, we had the same thing. In my video yesterday, I said Nvidia might get a little dip and then bounce, right? We called a dip that was coming. I was expecting it to come down. We got the move into the 117 area. Then we got a nice bounce after that. So tomorrow, I wouldn't be surprised if we see something similar. We dip a little bit into the 120 area, get bought back up towards 123. Then we just continue to consolidate. I find that to be the most likely possibility as Nvidia is holding up well. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is also holding up in my personal opinion. Now we have a head and shoulders like structure. If we lose 69,000, we'll be tipping all the way down towards 68,500. But so far, so good from Bitcoin as we're holding some key supports. If we end up breaking past 70,000, we'll be looking for a push all the way up towards 70,500. But in my opinion, we're actually holding up well, and there's a good chance that this could continue to consolidate. Now, if we do lose this support around 69,000, I'll be looking at 68,500. It hasn't done that yet, so it's going to likely continue to consolidate for some time. So we'll just have to see what the move ends up being. But looking at the head and shoulders, just be a little careful and just know that Bitcoin is range bound for now. For the QQQ, we're looking more bullish overall. We dipped exactly as we predicted towards the 461 area, only to get bought back up. So it's still favoring the bulls as the bulls have defended this support right here. I was thinking we'd get closer to like 460 and then bounce. We actually went to 461 and then bounce. So very close, but not exact. For the future, what I think is going to likely happen is something very similar to SPY, where we dip a little bit down here towards 463. Then we get a nice rebound all the way back up towards 465. I find that to be the most likely possibility for a little dip and then a bounce. So I'll be watching for that on the QQQ, and we'll have to see how things end up developing, at least moving forward. But with that being said, I do favor that at least for the QQQ, a little dip and a bounce. I think we could retest for the 463.5 area, maybe a little bit lower before we try to make our way back up towards the all-time high. I think that we might see a lot of consolidation. If we do end up breaking the all-time high, then we could see a squeeze, but either a dip and a bounce to consolidate or a dip and a bounce to squeeze are the two most likely possibilities. Either way, the bulls have the edge. Now, Apple stock is looking a little bit weaker to me. We got this big rejection. We had a buy the rumor, sold the news event with their whole AI developments. I think their announcements were very bullish for the companies for the long term with their new integration of ChatGPT to be established. Very, very awesome news for Apple with these new AI developments. But the issue is this was like a buy the rumor, sell the news event. We were pumping, approaching the big events, the big conference today. And then all of a sudden we got this big rug pull because all the buyers stepped in before the event. And now they're only left with, sellers. So that's why Apple ended up developing the way it did. So in my personal opinion, we'll be watching 192.8. If we reclaim that, we'll be pushing back up to 194.5. If we fail to hold above 192.8 tomorrow, we're going to be dipping all the way down to the lower 190s. There's going to be a risk of it coming down a bit. So I'll be watching that very carefully. Apple is showing some weakness, but we have to wait and see and wait for confirmation just to be safe. On top of all of this, I just want to say that for other factors involving the markets, I will be talking more about the rest of the tickers, but let me just give me some time at least to do this. I'm going to be a little bit quicker when doing this, by the way, for the rest of these charts. So just give me a second, guys. As far as this goes for Neo, we look a little bit more bearish considering the fact that there is like an inverse cup and handle, and this could look a little bit more bearish at least moving forward. So we'll see how things go. If we lose 4.7, there's going to be a bigger dip coming all the way down towards 4.4. If we hold this, we could try to rebound to 5, but this is favoring bears. Anyways, for the rest of these, Palantir is trying to rebound a bit. We could retest 23.5 in my opinion. We'll see if we reject or not. But that's going to be very important for how things end up moving. Look for a push for 23.5 and see if we get a rejection or if we break through this. Might try to pop it and we'll see if we reject. For Supermicro, I think that as of right now, we are trying to push a little bit. We could be approaching the 800 area, 800 to 808. So it might try to push a little bit, and then we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But that's going to be very important for how things end up looking. For Rivian, we're on a very, very nice uptrend. I think we're going to be approaching the 12 area very soon. Overall, we're holding up quite well. I think that 12 could be coming, and we'll see if we get a rejection or not. But Rivian is holding up quite well. For a few more, we also have SoFi is rebounding a bit. If we do continue to push, I'll be looking for 7.1 as a potential target. Overall, it's holding up well. SoFi has a very, very good chance of pushing higher for that 7.1 area. So we'll see if that rejects or not. For the IWM Russell 2000, going to be looking for a test of 202. If we break that, I'll be looking at 203.7 all the way up here. If you reject off 202, we'll be dipping back down lower. This chart looks like it wants to be pushing above into the 203s. So that seems a lot more probable in my personal opinion. For AMD has a head and shoulders like structure looking a little bit weak. Watch 158 as support. If you lose 158, we're going to be dipping even lower, all the way down to 155. If we bounce off 158, we'll be looking for a rebound towards these higher levels. As of right now, this looks a little bit weaker, but we need the confirmation to see if this loses 158. So look for a test of this 158 zone. If we bounce, we'll be making our way back up to 164. If we lose 158, we'll be dipping all the way down to lower levels. So just watch for that tomorrow very, very carefully. For ARM, we're showing a little bit of weakness. We have a bearish divergence developing right here. If we continue to fall, so watch 140 as resistance. If this breaks, we'll be looking at 144. If it falls here, we'll be dipping back down towards 138. My gut tells me it's just going to consolidate up here and just trade sideways. That's what it's been doing for the last couple of days. So look for some sideways price action on ARM is the most likely possibility. Now for Coinbase, this dipped quite a bit, rebounded towards 250. If we reject and lose 247, we're going to be looking for a dip all the way down towards 239. If we hold above 247, we could rebound. This does favor a little bit of a rejection here. It depends if we could hold 250 or not. If we fail to do so, I'll be looking for a move all the way down to 244. So watch 250 if we break that or not. Amazon's looking more bullish. We're testing 187 as resistance. If we reject here, we'll be retesting 185.8. If we hold above this, we'll be looking for 188. Overall, we're looking bullish as we're on a very, very nice uptrend. So we'll have to see what the move ends up being. For Meta, we're on a very, very nice uptrend as well. If we hold above 500, we're going to be looking for a push all the way up towards 510. If you reject off 500, this 500 area, then if we lose it, 491 is coming again. So watch 500. If we hold above it, we're bullish. 510 is coming. If we lose 500, we're going to be dipping down to 491. So we'll give it some time. For Microsoft, in my personal opinion, is at least on the 4-hour trying to climb right here. We have this imbalance to fill towards 429.5. If we continue to hold above 427, look for 429.5. If we lose 427, we're going to be dipping all the way down towards 424. So watch and see if we get a rejection or not. For Google, we're actually trying to rebound right here. If we do push higher, I'll be going all the way up to 178. If we lose 176.5, we're going to be dipping to 175. As of right now, it looks like it wants to push a little bit higher. GameStop has dipped all the way down to the gap fill exactly as you predicted. Now that this happened, it could try to rebound. So look for an attempt to touch 28.29. If we break that, 30 is coming. If we fail to break 28.29, we will reject again. My gut tells me it's going to be a little rebound towards 30. AMC could also do the same thing and follow GameStop and try to make its way closer to about 4.8. So we'll have to wait and see. DJT is also dipping quite a bit, looking more bearish. We've lost our 200 EMA. So this does favor a potential test all the way down towards the low 40 area. So it might pop a little bit, retest resistance around 42, then make its way all the way down towards 40. For the VIX, we have a gap to fill all the way down here. So if we fill this gap, that's going to be a little bit more bearish, at least for the markets. So we'll have to see how the VIX ends up doing here. That's going to be very pivotal for the way we end up moving. But the VIX is still showing signs that the market could push higher. The 10-year Treasury yield is going to be heavily dictated by Jerome Powell. So we're going to be waiting for Wednesday for a big move. Whatever this does will have a big effect on at least the markets. So we'll see what yields do. We have to be patient with those. The dollar is rejecting a bit, looking kind of weak. If we lose 105, this could be bullish for the markets to push higher. And it's looking like it might reject, so watch that very carefully. As far as Tesla goes, guys, Tesla is continuing to consolidate within this range. So give Tesla the time it needs. Be very, very patient, and we'll see how things go. Let's see if we get a rebound off 173. If we do so, we're going to be pushing back up to 176. If we fail to do so, we're going to be dipping down to lower levels. If we close below 173, we're bearish. Tesla's going to make a bigger move down. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But until then, just know that the range remains intact for Tesla, and we'll give it all the time it needs. All right. Thank you for listening, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow before the market opens, and peace out.